In the year 2013, a team of explorers crawled through the narrow, twisting tunnels of South Africa's Rising Star Cave. The passage was so small that only the thinnest climbers could enter. Their lights cut through the heavy darkness, shining on rocks that had not been touched for thousands of years. But then, the explorers saw something that froze them in place. Bones. Human-like bones at first. They thought it might be an ancient burial site, maybe the remains of early people. But as the bones were carefully lifted from the dust, it became clear these were not ordinary humans. The skull was smaller, the body different. The chamber was hidden so deep it seemed impossible for anyone to live there. Scientists named this strange new species Homo Naledi, but the mystery only grew. Why were these remains placed so far underground? Were they hiding their dead? Were they performing rituals? Or did something drive them into the darkness to die? The Rising Star Cave had guarded its secret for thousands of years. Now, the world had a puzzle. A species that looked both primitive and human. Living in a time they should not have, the discovery was only the beginning. And history would never be the same. When the bones of Homo Naledi were carefully studied, scientists began to piece together a face from the shadows of time. The skeleton was unlike anything they had seen before. This ancient being stood just over 5 feet tall, with long, thin arms and legs. The hands were curved, almost like those of a climber, built to grip rocks and trees. Yet the feet looked much like our own, made for walking long distances. Their body told 2 stories at once, primitive, part human. The skull was small, holding a brain no bigger than an orange. By today's standards, that brain should have meant limited intelligence, but the bones suggested otherwise. The jaw was strong, the teeth worn from chewing tough food, and the face carried a mix of human-like and ape-like features. It was familiar, yet unsettling. When artists reconstructed the face, people were shocked. Looking back at them was a creature that could have walked beside early humans, cousin both strange and eerily close. The question grew louder. Were these beings simple survivors, or something more? Did they laugh, plan, or dream? Each detail of their body added mystery. Homo Naledi was no ghost from the past, it was a riddle. Staring straight into our eyes, deep inside the caves of South Africa, Homo Naledi lived in a world of shadows. Unlike open skies and bright plains, their story seemed tied to narrow tunnels and flickering firelight. But why would any species choose the darkness? The bones showed that these people were strong climbers. Their curved fingers and long arms suggest they could scale rocks with ease, moving like shadows across cave walls. Evidence of fire-burned bones and blackened stones proved they carried flames deep underground. Fire was their only light, their only defense against the dark. But the caves were more than just shelter. The remains of tools hinted at skill. Simple stone tools may have helped them cut, scrape, and survive. Food scraps suggested a tough diet. Roots, plants, and perhaps even meat. Life for Homo Naledi was harsh, but they adapted. The real mystery, however, was their choice of home. Why bury themselves so deep, far from sunlight? Were they hiding from predators? Or was the cave something sacred, a place of ritual and meaning? Each torchlit step into those passages revealed not just survival, but purpose. The deeper scientists searched, the clearer it became. Homo Naledi was not living in darkness by chance. They belonged to it. And in that darkness, secrets still wait to be uncovered. When scientists explored deeper into the Rising Star Cave, they uncovered a discovery that shook the world of history. The bones of Homo Naledi were not scattered by accident. They had been placed there deliberately. This was a shock. Burials were thought to be unique to modern humans, Homo sapiens. Yet here, in chambers hidden far underground, lay evidence that another species might have honored their dead. Some skeletons were found in positions that looked intentional, carefully arranged in the earth. Others were placed together, as if laid to rest by living hands. The age of these burials made the mystery even greater. They were older than anyone expected, older than the first known human rituals. How could a species with such a small brain understand death in this way? For scientists, it was almost unbelievable. If true, it meant Homo Naledi thought about life, death, and perhaps even an afterlife. It suggested emotions, grief, respect, memory that were not supposed to exist so early in history. The cave was no longer just a home or a shelter. It was a graveyard, a sacred space where the dead were given meaning. And the question whispered through the darkness. What did Homo Naledi believe as they placed their loved ones deep beneath the earth? For years, scientists believed that big brains meant big intelligence. By that rule, Homo Naledi, with a brain barely half the size of ours, should have been simple, almost childlike. But the evidence told a different story. Inside the caves, charred bones and blackened walls revealed fire. Somehow, these small-brained beings had learned to control it, carrying flames deep into the earth where no sunlight could reach. Fire was not only lighted, was survival. Stone tools were also found, shaped with purpose. They cut, scraped, and prepared food. These tools were simple, but showed planning, skill, and memory. It meant Homo Naledi could teach, share, and pass knowledge from one to another. Even more mysterious was their cooperation. Crawling into such narrow passages was dangerous. Yet they entered together, carrying bodies, fire, and tools. This was not random behavior, it was teamwork. So the question grew, how could such a small brain produce such complex actions? Scientists began to wonder if intelligence was not about size, but about connection, how the brain was wired. Perhaps Homo Naledi was proof that thinking, planning, and even feeling did not belong to us alone, in the dark caves of Africa. A smaller mind lit a fire that still challenges what it means to be human. As scientists studied the bones of Homo Naledi, another question rose like a shadow: did they ever meet us? Homo sapiens. The dating of the fossils gave a chilling answer. Homo Naledi lived between 200,000 and 300,000 years ago, the very same time early humans were beginning to spread across Africa. Two kinds of humans, walking the same land, breathing the same air. What happened when their paths crossed? Did they trade, share fire, or learn from one another? Or was it far darker? History tells of competition, of one species rising while others disappear. Could we have been the reason Homo Naledi vanished? There is no DNA yet to confirm contact. No signs of children born from both groups. No clear evidence of battles. Only silence. But silence can be powerful. It may mean peace, or it may mean a story erased by time. Imagine standing on an African plain, seeing a figure that looks almost human, but not quite. Eyes watching you, filled with thought. Was it friend, rival, or something in between? The truth remains buried in the earth. But one thing is certain, Homo Naledi and Homo sapiens were not alone. For a moment in time, we walked this world together. The story of Homo Naledi is not finished. Even after years of digging, studying, and testing, the caves of South Africa still keep their secrets. Each bone is a whisper, but the full voice of this species remains hidden. Why did they choose the darkness of Rising Star Cave? Were they hiding from danger, or creating a sacred place? Did they have language, or only gestures and sounds? Did they dream, tell stories, or fear the unknown? Scientists agree on one thing. Homo Naledi forces us to rewrite history. For so long, humans believed we were the only ones capable of ritual, of meaning, of thought beyond survival. But this small-brained species proved otherwise. They used fire, tools, teamwork, and perhaps even ceremony, yet mysteries linger. More chambers may still lie untouched, holding tools, carvings, or even art. What else waits in the shadows, locked away for hundreds of thousands of years? The bones of Homo Naledi are not just fossils. They are a challenge, a reminder that the human story is not simple. It is a puzzle with missing pieces. And somewhere deep in the earth, more answers still wait silent, patient and ready to change history once again.